Hi there guys, I hope you are all well. Now, Eddie Hearn has explained that Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev could take place in September, October or November, likely in Croatia or Saudi Arabia. Now, it was Kubrat Pulev's team that were talking to representatives in Croatia in the Pula Arena about apparently staging the fight there. And obviously Eddie Hearn has good connections with Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. So he's dealing with that side. So I guess they will just weigh up the options, see which is the best option for this fight and go there. If I'm honest, if they're going to do something different with this fight, take it out of the UK, which they're going to have to if they want a crowd, then I'd say take it to Croatia. I mean, I don't know how bad the pandemic is over there. I'm not too sure, and Saudi Arabia as well. But ultimately, I'd say do something different. If they're going to have to do something different with this fight and take it away from the UK, then go to a different place. Anthony Joshua is a world champion. Travel the world and fight around the world. So I would say Saudi Arabia has been done. There is no problems with going back there sometime in the future, but I would say that if they can go somewhere else, like Croatia, the Pula Arena, and Pulev's team can organise that, then why not try something different? And obviously it has to be on Anthony Joshua's terms because he's the champion. So Pulev has to kind of toe the line until he's in the position of champion, which I don't believe he's going to because he's not beating Anthony Joshua. But still, Pulev has to do what Anthony Joshua wants to do. And if Anthony Joshua say does want to fight in Saudi Arabia, then that is where Pulev will have to go for the fight. And with that being said, AJ might decide that he wants to fight Kubrat Pulev in Croatia. He might decide that Saudi Arabia is not the best place for this fight necessarily. Maybe they will go somewhere different instead of going straight back to Saudi Arabia, because obviously that was where Anthony Joshua's last fight was. And if this fight between Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev does go to Saudi Arabia, like Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr. too, then it's going to kind of seem like Anthony Joshua is fighting in Saudi Arabia. That is his new base. Anthony Joshua only fights out of Saudi Arabia. And realistically, we don't want that. We want to see Anthony Joshua coming back to the UK. So this fight isn't going to be in the UK. I don't believe anyway. I believe it's going to be Croatia or Saudi Arabia. And personally, I believe the better place to stage this fight would be Croatia because obviously, as I said, I don't believe he should go straight back to Saudi Arabia. If he wants to, then obviously Anthony Joshua is the champion. But if that does happen and Anthony Joshua does go back to Saudi Arabia, then they're going to try and get every single Anthony Joshua fight. I mean, they probably are anyway. They likely tried to get this fight in the first place anyway. So they're going to try and get every Anthony Joshua fight. And maybe they will even try and sign Anthony Joshua up to make sure that he fights his next 3 or 4 fights there anyway. So maybe Saudi Arabia will try and do a bigger deal if they can get this fight between Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev, because they're going to want guarantees. Because Anthony Joshua cannot fight in the UK at the moment. If he does, then it will be behind closed doors. And I do not believe that Anthony Joshua will want to fight behind closed doors, and I don't believe that Eddie Hearn will put a fight on with Anthony Joshua in it behind closed doors. So for the foreseeable future, AJ will be fighting abroad. Depending upon how long it takes for the UK to go back to normal and where we can have mass gatherings of people, like say a full stadium where they can go and see Anthony Joshua fight. Maybe if he's back in the UK, he starts back in the O2 or something like that. Maybe build back to the stadium fights. But ultimately, at the moment, the outline is September, October, November. That seems like the dates that could be in mind for Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. Croatia or Saudi Arabia. As I said, Saudi Arabia has been done, and if he goes back there, they're going to try and keep him there. So I think I would like to see Anthony Joshua go to Croatia, maybe try something different, travel around the world, defend the belts in different countries. But obviously, as I said, Anthony Joshua is the champion. He decides where the fight is, when the fight is. If he wants to go back to Saudi Arabia because he had a good experience there last time and his preference is Saudi Arabia, then that's what has to happen because Anthony Joshua is the champion. He decides that. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? September, October, November, Croatia or Saudi Arabia? Guys, what are your thoughts on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, click the thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks, guys.